I would read the Wine Spectator. At that point, at 16 years old, no child should know as much about wine as I did. And I just went all in, and what I wanted to do was build the biggest wine company of all time. And at that point, talk about innovation, there was no internet. I just thought I was going to have 17 million stores, right? I mean, it's just what I thought I was going to do. It's what I was going to execute. I had to become the biggest retailer in wine, I did not grow up techie at all. That's why when I hear people make excuses of why they're not doing well in the tech world, or I don't want to use Facebook, I didn't grow up with technology. You didn't grow up driving and you figured it out. I was not techie. The most teched out that I was by the time I was 20 years old was that nobody, including in this room, can beat me in NHL 94 for Sega Genesis. That was pretty much my tech skill set. But I launched WineLibrary.com in 1997. And I started developing in 1996. I paid somebody to develop. I got ripped. I paid 40 G's for a one-page HTML site. Guys like, this is gonna take months. I'm like, great, thank you so much, sir. It took him like 2 hours. He sat on it for 4 months. Fucker. Alex, if I find your ass, you're fucking dead. Oh, by the way, that's happening right now with iPhone apps, but that's another story. Anyway, launched it. We did $87 on WineLibrary.com the first year. So my dad was not too happy with me. But things went better from there, and I took over operations in 1998, rebranded the store to WineLibrary.com, and from 98 to 2005, we grew from a $3 to a $45 million a year business, and since then have grown to about a $60 million a year business. Where it starts getting relevant, but where it starts getting relevant for you guys is this. It's what happened when I took on full-time developers and I sat right next to them. And literally, we had a small office. I sat like this. And the first day, Eric Kastner, my lead developer in 2002, came in and said, January of 2002, said, I was looking up a wine on Yahoo, and he said, why don't you use Google? And I was like, all right. And I was like, and I looked at the site. I'm like, this site sucks. How are these clowns ever going to make any money? Look at this white page. I'm glad I wasn't making predictions back then. And and it just started. It's like, hey, you should read this and this. And then I just started seeing something happen in 04 and 05 that really hit me, which was the web was going social, right? I'm about people, guys. The reason I'm here, yeah, I sold some books. Great. I think that we have a war brewing in marketing and in business. And that war is around a C word, and it's not content. How many people here have heard content is king? I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning to be here today. Do not give me a bullshit half hand. I don't want your fucking head. I want full hands. How many people have heard it? Thank you very much. Content is king. And in 2008 at Web 2.0, I said, and marketing is the queen, and that bitch runs the household, right? And I believe that. I believe that. I'm big on marketing. But the word that I am completely obsessed about, that's why I like Corey's thing quite a bit, actually. The thing I'm completely obsessed about is context. I think context is the battle. And the reason I'm here tonight is not because I sold a couple hundred books and because I love the hustle of the entrepreneurs, and I did, and that did, attract me to the situation. I'm here tonight because I want to make context with the 500 people that are in this room. That I want to do business with everybody in this room, not for tomorrow where you pick up another copy for somebody, but because I want to do business with every person in this room for the rest of my life. I want to do business with the people in this room 35 years from today, because I'm still going to be hustling and grinding and making shit happen. And that's ultimately why I'm here, because I know a lot of you have read my book, watched my videos, maybe seen this on a video, but I've never been able to shake your hand or thank you or create context with people I've run into in New York but didn't realize it. That stuff matters, and that is so what's interesting to me. As we all go Jetsons, the real value is in the Flintstones. And let me explain why, and this is what the thank you economy is about. Michael beat me to the punch. Who here is a UI or UX design developer? Raise your hand kind of thing. I think these 7 to 10 people are the most interesting people in the room. And I'll tell you why. I've been spending a lot of time with the Groupons, and I'm very friendly with Aaron, co-founder of Living Social. I went to Summit at Sea. I'm on this boat going to this little island. Some guy sits next to me. He's like, hey, Gary V, really loved your new book. I'm like, thanks, man, what do you do? He goes, oh, I created this farm game He goes, and then it got bought by Zengo. It became the infrastructure of Farmville. So I met Zhao, the kid who literally built Farmville, right? So the poor fucker, I stuck to him the rest of the trip. Like, tell me everything. I believe that the marketing world has spent a very long time on customer acquisition. That a lot of you here have spent a lot of time in your lives figuring out how am I going to get somebody. Get them in, right? Whether you're a restaurant, get them in. Whether you're a shop trying to get clients, selling something. We have all battled on customer acquisition. I believe that we're on the dawn of mapping customer acquisition. That there's a small group, like Michael alluded to, that I agree with him, that absolutely understand every nuance and are brewing towards whether a LinkedIn ad will convert better or a Facebook ad or Twitter promoted tweets now, very interesting stuff, Google, on and on and on, banners, retargeting, sponge cell, all that shit, right? Mapped. Mapped. Guys like me who prided themselves in understanding that if I said Super Chardonnay, 93 points Parker, and it came to me that that would open better in email and convert better, creatives, people that come up with the ideas, that people now are looking us in the face and saying, Gary, that's pretty cute, but if this was a yellow button and 3 inches over, you'd convert 37% better. And then I'm like, fuck you, nerd. I'm so pissed. I'm becoming a dinosaur. All that gut intuition, all that good shit I was born with that was gonna sail me through, mapped. Which is why I wrote the Thank You Economy and why I've been sitting on it for a while. We are all going to be battling not for acquisition, because in 5 years you're gonna all know how to get them. You're gonna understand exactly how much it costs you to get the customer you want. We are all gonna battle on retention. We are all gonna battle on lifetime value. And that is darn interesting. And what does that look like? I think we're living through unbelievable times. Here's what I think is interesting. We could sit here and you guys are gonna ask me some questions. I'm gonna do a lot of Q&A, and it's gonna be fun, and Michael answers great questions, and Core got me all pumped up. I loved his gusto up here. He basically said, fuck you, you guys are all old. I like that, good shit. I was sitting there, I was like, fuck, this kid's got 16 years on me. That's a startup I want. Give me a time machine, I'll come back and kick ass too. I liked it, I liked the gusto. But I was sitting there and I was wondering, you know, what is really happening here? Guys, here's what I really believe in more than anything. I believe every person in this room, and think about if you're in this room. Think about the couple front rows. Think about the fact that you even know who any of us are and you know what this space is. The fact that you're here means you are a very small percentage of our society that understands things are moving, and you see opportunities that are gonna be very big opportunities that a lot of people don't see. You're looking at something that's quite small in the scheme of our culture, though growing. I still think, knowing that you are that audience, not some random audience, that every person in this room, every one of us, including me, are grossly underestimating the internet. Facebook and Twitter and Hashable and Tumblr and on, tools on top of it. The consumer web, the one that we know, is 17 years old. 17 years old. It's only been 17 years since AOL spammed our actual mailboxes with CDs. How many people here, Corey, don't raise your hand, it's gonna hurt my feelings. How many people here do not remember the world before the internet? Raise your hand. Michael, what are you talking about? You're like 48 or something. 95% of the people here remember what it felt like if you missed the Wonder Years at 8 on Tuesday night. You were ass out and had to catch it in the summer on fucking rerun. We are living through unprecedented times. This is the biggest culture shift that we have ever seen, ever. I'm willing to go ever. Fuck the printing press, ever. This is the biggest culture shift that we have ever seen ever, because we are connecting people in a way that the printing press and everything else could have never done. We are living in very different times. It blows my mind when people debate if social media is impacting their business or changing their business. This shit is overthrowing governments in the Middle East from dictators that have clung onto their society for 4 fucking decades, and you have the audacity to think this shit isn't gonna impact your business? Fuck! Seriously? Of course it is, but the problem is you're not patient. You want it now. Facebook had 5 years to make money. Shit, YouTube had 7. Twitter had 3 or 4. Poor Dennis Crowley, 3 minutes into Foursquare, they're like, how are you gonna make money, right? You know, I understand where the energy of Corey's question is, have you made money or how are you gonna make money? But businesses need a little time to breathe. We need a little time. It's unbelievable how fast everything, the culture shifts are so phenomenal. How many people here, and by the way, the series of questions I'm about to ask you is actually how I make my living. So if you really want to understand what I'm about, here it goes. How many people here don't lie because lying is the devil? How many people here, none this, not this, and front rows, look back because I want you to get a context of this. How many people here, probably 3 or 4 years ago, said to themselves or to a friend, probably to themselves, up in their own head, I'm not getting a Facebook account. Why would I ever need one? Raise your hand, I'll wait. Liars, don't hold back, look back, raise your hands. Thank you very much. Of those people, how many of you have a Facebook account? Raise them. Let's go old school. Corey, you're gonna love this one. How many people here 10 years ago said, I'm not getting a cell phone. Why would I want anybody to contact me anytime they want? Don't lie, I know this one hurts, but raise them. I remember the conversation, raise them. Thank you for being honest. I know, you're half-assed, go high. It's okay, we won't make fun of you. Of those 30, 40 people, just curious, how many of you do not have a cell phone? 0. I am obsessed with what the consumer says they're not gonna do that I know they're going to do, because that's where the money is. I know that we love to draw big fat lines in the sand and say, I'm not doing that shit. When Foursquare and Gowalla came out, everybody's like, I'm not fucking checking in. Gary, why would I ever check in? I'm like, I don't know, because when you go to your favorite bar and they give you a free shot of Jack Daniels, your ass is gonna check in. They're like, oh shit, you're right. There's a lot of things coming, and a lot of things that we don't think we're gonna do. What I think is interesting is that businesses have to understand that there's a report I just got access to that's gonna be coming out soon, I'm sure it'll hit Ad Age and TechCrunch and all this, that the average 24-year-old, 25-year-old, they're still working out the numbers, actually has a complete blind side of the entire right side of the web. Can't see it. Could not recall jack shit. When asked about any other parts of the site, knows it. Doesn't even have a prayer, sometimes moments after surfing, to tell you one thing on the right side. Because they grew up in a world where they've been pushed all the ads on that side, right? How many of you remember when you first heard, you've got mail? You were pumped. Some of you can't remember this, but you were fucking pumped. You were like, holy shit, wait, I don't have to send a stamp envelope anymore? They're gonna charge for this shit. They got to. That's what you thought. We loved email. They made movies about them. How do you guys out here like email? If you look at email open rates, how many people here have done email marketing or actively do email marketing, understand it? How many have done it for more than 5 years? 10. You guys really know. You remember those open rates 10 years ago? You remember that? Yeah, all right, you want to, 15? 30? Okay. Open rates have collapsed. Do you know what the click-through ratio was on banner ads in 1994? Now, I know that's super early before it went mainstream. It was 80%. 80. 80. I'll show you. 80. I'll bet you, fuckface. 80%. 80%. If you get a 1.0 right now, you're a genius and you're getting a promotion. Open rates have collapsed. Groupon, Living Social, Guild Group, ideally, all these things, right? 2 years ago, you couldn't wait to get $40 worth of spa treatment